Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to yet another session full of tips and tricks for you. Today we're going to talk about how not to get your music signed, because this seems to be a problem that a lot of you guys are dealing with nowadays. We all know the feeling of sending your music towards a label company or a label manager and never getting any response back. So what's going wrong here? Is there something you can do better to get to that email box? We'll find out today. I'll be giving you some tips. In the last few years I've been active on both sides of this story. I've been a DJ and a producer myself, so I've sent out a lot of music to a lot of different labels, and I know how hard it is to get heard by those labels. And on the other side, I've been working as a product manager at a few different labels, and of course I own my own label, which is Dot Records. So I know both stories of this story, and that's why I'm going to tell you more about it today. During those years, as being a product manager at several labels and owning my own label Dot Records, I noticed that there were a few things that consistently went wrong in sending out emails towards label managers. That's the thing that I want to talk to you about today. So I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks just to see if we can optimize those emails to get through that email boxes. Let's start off with tip number 1, the story of your life. We live in a world where everyone's just really busy. Some people don't even have the time to visit their relatives or friends because they're really busy with their job, their social media and everything around their lives as well. So when you send out an email towards a label company, try to keep things short and simple. Just send out an email with a link, tell them why it should fit the label, and just send it out quickly, because no one's interested in your life story. No one has time for bullshit nowadays, so just keep things short and simple. Tip number 2. Attachments. Imagine being a label manager just for 5 seconds. Imagine how those guys would live their lives. They're traveling a lot, they receive a lot of emails, they have contact with artists, managers, bookers, publishers. They're just in constant working mode all day long. So imagine when you have an email box filled with emails, and when you send out an email with an attachment, the box gets full really quick. Save yourself the time and disappointment, and don't send out any emails with an attachment, because you can use services such as Google Drive, Dropbox, SoundCloud. Just upload it on one of those services. Make sure all the needed information is in there. Make sure there's a nice cover, because people like nice things. And when you've done all this, make sure you send a private link towards a label manager, because he needs a private link which is not accessible for anyone else. So a private link with all the information needed, a nice picture and the track. Send that one out to a label manager, and no attachments in an email, please. Following up on my second tip, this is tip number 3. Exclusivity. It's a common mistake that people forget to click the private button on their upload on SoundCloud. Please don't make this mistake, because it could end up ugly. If you forget to click the private button on SoundCloud, your track ends up online, which means it isn't exclusive anymore, and label managers like exclusive tracks. So please don't forget that, because it's an absolute no. Let's go to tip number 4. Unfinished tracks. I actually never understood why people would do this, but it seems to happen a lot. Sending out emails with tracks that aren't finished, or links that are broken and aren't working anymore. Here's 2 tips for you before you send out your email. 1. Send finished tracks to labels, because they can work with tracks that aren't finished yet. Tracks from 1 minute or 2 minutes that still need about a minute to go. They can work with that, so you need to make sure that your track is finished. It has an intro, it has an outro, the melody is done, the bass is done, the mixing is done. Mastering is not necessarily a must, because sometimes it gets mastered by the label, but it's really important that the track in its arrangement and in its sound is finished. The second one is, don't delete your upload after 2 days. Like I said in number 1, everyone's busy nowadays. It's not weird that it's maybe going to take a few more days until you get a reply from the label manager. So make sure you don't delete it after 2 days, because maybe he will see your email after 5 days. He will finally get to your email, click on the link, and the link is dead. So your opportunity to get signed is just being blown away because you deleted it. If you want to change some things before they check the track, just make sure you change the audio file. So the link stays active, but you just change the audio file behind the link. Okay, so let's go to the 5th tip. CC and BCC. So you've created the perfect email and you're using personal links. Now what? Don't send out any bulk emails. Be personal. A label manager will notice when you send out an email to like 100,000 email addresses out there. So make sure you send just one email, make a personal email, call out his name, maybe even put in a detail in there about his life, or maybe you've seen that he went to a conference last week, ask him how that conference was. Just make things personal, because you don't want to get bulk emails, because that ends up in the trash right away. So let's go to the conclusion of this video. Send personal emails and keep things short and simple. Use links from platforms such as SoundCloud, Google Drive and Dropbox. Make sure these links are on private and not available for the public. Send finished original tracks and be open to feedback. Send personal emails and don't send any bulk emails. So if you find these tips helpful to you, you can find more tips and tricks on my website, which is artistcoaching.nl. Thanks for watching today and see you next time in another video.